When you put your pictures out with makeup, random profiles would just text you a chakka gur, all of that, like all the slurs that you possibly could imagine. You want to feel that it's your space because it's a queer dating app, but you almost end up feeling more alienated than before.
I have faced more discrimination within the community than outside the community, I'll be very honest. There is a kind of hierarchy in terms of your choices, depending upon how you look.
Just to be categorized like this, to have people coming at you and hating on you because you want to be discreet or you don't want to share your personal details or you just don't want to share a picture as well. I think queer dating apps now have ceased to be that safe space for people.
Donald Martin says that emergence of queer in this era is emergence of cyber queer. And internet has a radical role to play in that sense. From era of Orkut and Facebook and Yahoo chat rooms, we might have come to an era of dating apps with geolocative features that you can move around and take your desires along with you. You can feel you are in South Delhi by just being in South Delhi with your phone. You don't need to have a house there. It's something radical, I feel. There's a potential there. Limitations of it are many.
In India, where queer relationships are still largely taboo, spaces that allow queer folk to pursue romantic and sexual encounters remain elusive. While the Supreme Court of India decriminalized homosexuality in a 2018 judgment, there is still a lot of social stigma around same-sex relationships. Many have no option but to turn to queer dating apps.
Even if Section 377 is no more, people do judge you, right? And you don't know how to go about it. We can't go openly to a person and say, oh, we love you or we like you or you want to go on a date or stuff. So dating app is easier options to sort of go on a date or find a hookup.
If you're a new gay, as they call it, they will size you up, they will look at you. So maybe you starting off on a dating app is good because you can hide behind the screen or you can hide behind the fact that, you know what, I'll talk to someone even if it doesn't go well or if it goes south, I know I can just log off or I can block the person or delete the person.
A 2019 survey revealed that over a third of queer Indians use digital apps to meet people for dating or hookups. When queer dating apps entered the Indian market, they came with the promise of being a safe space, a space that offered intimacy, comfort, and a sense of community. But unfortunately, the way they work ends up creating new kinds of problems around safety and discrimination.
As someone who's femme and then someone who's out there, not a lot of people want to be seen with you or be in love with you. And I think actually most of my femme friends have the same struggles. Yeah. You want to feel included because you know that there are more queer people in the app itself. But it's actually quite different when you join the app because you just feel more humiliated, actually. And sometimes it's even worse than how heterosexuals treat us, you know.
I don't know if I should say that, but within the community itself, there's a lot of body shaming happening. There's a lot of patriarchy within the community itself. They want a certain kind of body type, even to hook up or to have a relationship.
Most dating apps give users the option to set preferences and filter interactions using basic parameters like gender, age, and distance. But when it comes to queer dating apps, this spectrum becomes wider, from body types to preferred sexual positions. These apps have a range of filters based on appearances and physical preferences that not only make interactions feel transactional, but also put users at risk.
So features like, ethnicity and body type and, like hair, hairy, non-hairy, and, all of these things I don't think should matter, but these features are still there on the apps. I mean, I understand it helps other people to get what they're looking for, but also it enables more discrimination because I am dark, I'm from Northeast, I'm skinny, and I'm not hairy.
When we're talking about LGBTQ dating apps, what we should look at is there are two broad issues that we need to think about. One is that of algorithmic fairness. And algorithmic fairness is the concept of compensating for the various algorithmic biases that we encode into the technologies that we create. And the other is that of data minimization. It's about you are providing a service. What kind of data do you need to collect to provide that service? Are you collecting only that data, or are you collecting more data than you need? So when we look at LGBTQ dating apps, the algorithmic fairness issue and the data minimization issue, they have not really put a lot of thought into the design of the apps. You can see that they collect more data than that is required, and you can also see problems where they are perpetuating some of the biases that we have into technology. They're encoding that, embedding that into technology, and therefore amplifying the bad effects of these biases. So when you look at these filters, if you think about the users, you have an LGBTQ user. They're already facing in the real world lots of discrimination, and then you're also giving the attackers the option to filter people based on the biases that they might have. So if someone who is really against a particular kind of person, a particular body image or a particular kind of profile, this abuser is able to see all the people in the vicinity who fit that category. And we have to realize these apps do not operate in isolation. So what the attacker can do is something called an exploit chain.
An exploit chain involves using technology to find out more links and information about a particular user. For example, access to a single photograph from a dating app can be used to run facial recognition and find the user on other social media platforms and apps. This in turn gives access to more personal information, which can be further manipulated to threaten users online and offline.
There have been a couple of instances. Initially, when I was on the app, they figured out my social media handle, and they sort of reached out to me on social media and said that they would leak my pictures, my nude pictures, or the pictures that I had shared with them. There was one specific incident when the person had come to my place for once, and because he knew my address, he sort of used to tell me that I will come to your place when your roommates and flatmates are there. At that time, I was not sort of out to my flatmate. Like, he knew about my sexual preferences, but not knowing that I have been calling people or this thing. So that was a little scary. But it is a really scary space. It actually took a toll. I couldn't understand things at first, what is happening, who to reach out to. Even if I was out to my friends, will they understand the kind of situation I am in?
Many queer dating apps have a functionality which shows a user people nearest to them. The intention behind this feature is to ensure that users are actually able to meet physically. However, when it comes to implementation, some of these apps end up revealing the exact location of other users. With techniques like triangulation, which involves taking the location from 3 different points, it's possible to pinpoint the location of these users and even track their movements across time. This leaves people vulnerable to attack from abusers and is a perfect example of something that can be avoided by simply minimizing the data collected.
Most of the laws and legalities are as per US. It's not India specific. And again, when these things were happening, Section 377 was still in place. I couldn't go to the police at that time because you don't know how things will turn up. High probability of me being harassed by the police force as well, that why you were doing and stuff. And I heard of stories where there were cases where people from the community were being harassed.
While concerns around data and privacy violations continue to grow for every person online, they become especially distressing for communities that are already marginalized. Unhindered access to sensitive data, real-time location tracking, discriminatory filters, and lack of adequate redressal mechanisms have opened up avenues for newer forms of exploitation and strengthened hierarchies within the community. But is there a way to reimagine these apps that could truly make them safe and inclusive?